All right. Thank you for joining us for the recap show for Outlast episode 6, titled I Need a Second. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Jen. Say hello, Jen.
Hello.
We are here to recap and react to and provide some behind the scenes info and analysis for on the 6th episode of Outlast, which we just watched. So excited to get into it. This is one of the more interesting tribal councils and results I think that we have all season. So excited to break that down. Definitely worth breaking down. I'll provide a disclaimer up top that Jen and I have drank a bottle of wine between the two of us this evening. So if there's any incoherencies, you can ascribe it to that.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's start how we always start with what's your biggest standout moment here from this episode?
I think I have two, and I don't want it to jump us too far ahead, so I'm just going to state them or try to state them, and then we could dive into them as we get closer to them. But I'd say my two favorite moments or standout moments is that, one, Elizabeth didn't play her idol.
Yeah.
And two, Sky's confessional or voting booth moment where she's figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate both of those moments from the episode.
Yeah, I have said in the watching of this and the lead up to it that I think the moment of Sky in the voting booth is maybe my single favorite moment of the season so far. I just love how it comes together. I love how her story to this point has built to this. Yeah, we'll talk about it in greater detail when we get to it more chronologically, but Sky is clear that she's not super familiar with the social strategy aspects of a game like Outlast. She's kind of learning it on the fly, and she's presented with a really challenging puzzle here in this 2-2-2 tie vote, and then the revote, and she doesn't just say, oh, I'll keep my vote the same, or oh, I don't know, I'll do something crazy. She settles in and really thinks about it and runs the numbers, and then ultimately clocks the situation correctly and changes her vote in a way that I think is the right move. So again, we'll talk about it in greater detail when we get there, but
She's a smart girl.
she's a smart girl. Just really, it's like I feel pride. I'm proud of her, it was a really cool moment. Okay, so let's start towards the top. We start kind of by wrapping up the story from last episode on the Green Tribe, where Ty's kind of fully taking credit for that Cody blindside. He pulled Anna and Sam in at the last second on that vote, which I think is brought up a little bit in the last episode, but here's him really staking his claim on the move, which, we've said several times, Cody's kind of the white whale of the beginning of this in the middle part of the season, and now that he's slain, it kind of opens things up a little bit. So we get his perspective on that, and then I also thought it was interesting to hear from Isaac and his reasoning for voting out Anna rather, and his kind of overarching strategy, which I think is valid, in that he, at this point, is just wanting to make as many friends as possible, is basically how he puts it, right? And so if he's got two new potential allies and those green members that show up at his camp, here's a chance to make some good connections there, which it sounds like is a primary reason that he decides to go against Anna. I'm interested in what you think about that take and that perspective of Isaac there, of just trying to create as many positive connections as he can.
Yeah, I think there's potential downfall with it, where in a game that's happening this fast,
Sure.
I mean, it can work for you. It could also, you know, what actual move are you making?
Sure.
And it is a move. It is a strategy, but is it going to be strong enough or valued by the other players that you're playing with?
Yeah.
In this fast-paced of a game.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is inherently like it comes with it's not one-sided, like his decision to invest in a relationship with those two came at the expense of the relationship with Anna, obviously, right? Like,
right.
And then, other than that, it was a pretty straight up and down vote. There weren't other votes going, but yeah, there's never no victim in a game like Outlast. There's always a victim. So,
I think what also happened in the beginning of that episode is Hannah, explaining or speaking to, kind of going over, she's shocked.
Yeah.
She didn't see this coming. And then it's also this kind of reeling or unraveling of like, how did we get here? How did I get here? And it's all about perception. And you can't change how other people perceive you. And it could have just been one thing. It could have been a couple of things. Could have been what somebody said about you. And I think that's what's so tricky about this game.
Yeah.
Is that you can be somebody who on paper or even while you're doing it, like be really good at a game like this. And it just takes one or two things not going your way that completely kind of knocks you out.
Yeah. Yeah, she talks about how...
And she's not out by any means, but it's like her number one ally.
Yeah.
And then it's like
she's
you see how they perceived...
rudderless here.
Yeah, how they perceived him, and you're linked in with that. And so where do you go from there? And I think it's this... And I also think, I just thought of this, but... And maybe this is nothing, but she also just voted out David. So now who could have been a good ally.
Sure.
So now you have no David, no Cody.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on in the other camp where the rest of you are orange. Who knows what's happening?
Yeah, the only other former orange on her tribe is Ty, who instigated the vote against her top ally, right? So yeah, I think she feels pretty rudderless at this point, and that she feels it stems from the very first Orange Tribal Council where Skye was voted out and being identified as like somebody who with Cody kind of masterminded that plan. Whether or not that's reality, that's at least perception, and that's as good as reality in a game.
She did say she was a loose cannon.
She did. That's the thing, too, is there's often revisionist history, I find, when you hear from players. We saw it last week, or like Anna, is denying throwing out Skye's name. It's like, that's not true. She did do that.
We saw you do that.
Hannah maybe didn't spearhead this vote, but she did play a really crucial role in the Skye vote. Like, she's who talks to Ty and brings him on it, which is important in getting the ability to split the vote. So, yeah, she's not, without some blood on her hands in that thing. The other point here from Green Tribe, or Orange Tribe rather, before the challenge is Isaac kind of brings up keeping Skye's idol a secret before the merge, if and when that happens, in an attempt to use it as a group. Which I do think on paper is like a sensible thing. Like, keep some ammunition, and whether or not it's his or anyone else's intention for that to always be a secret or to be used strategically, time will tell. But I think worth putting a flag in that moment as well, of them kind of all agreeing to keep the idol a secret.
Hands in the middle.
Yeah. No idol on 3.
No idol on 3.
So the challenge then, we're back to a standard tribe v tribe challenge with the rings and the tennis balls and the strings. This is one I was inspired by a nonprofit that I volunteered with called Camp Town that did this sort of team building game that's basically this with the tennis ball and the ring and the funnels. I thought it was really cool and tricky, and was like, this could be a cool Outlast challenge. So we basically ripped it. Shout out Camp Town. They do cool work in Indy. And the interesting thing here is so the thing that doesn't necessarily get shown in the show is we have each player holding just one string throughout the whole challenge. And then at the final round, when there's just 2 people on each, they just weren't able to get it with both people just holding one string. So we said, okay, we'll pause and we'll restart, and now each of you can hold 2 strings. And that's when that kind of foot race to the end happened. So I could have sworn that when we tested this, we got it to work with two people holding just one string each.
Because you asked me this later, and I was like, yeah, we did it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
What we did was we were standing much farther apart.
Yeah, we got it. We held it at the very end, basically, and got as much kind of torque on it as we could.
And I forget who it was of our friends, the challenge testers, that was actually got mad at you. Or it was testy. And then they were like, you need to do this challenge while they're hungry. Yeah. And then they'll just hate each other.
Yeah.
It's
tough.
Because it was tough. Because it's one person makes one wrong move or isn't listening to you.
Yeah.
And it drops. And I think if the challenges could have been longer, I think it would have been more fun for the course to be longer.
Yeah.
In general. Because I think that is where it's really frustrating. But there's the element of needing it to be tight so you can get all the angle. There's just so much production element of a tight crew and all of that I totally get.
Yeah.
But I think a huge part of the challenge that if we had more time and could just let it go on, I think it would have created more tension potentially.
Yeah, to have to really travel some distance with it.
Yeah, where it's are people then voting people out because they aren't good at a challenge together?
Yeah.
Or are they thinking we're so close to the merge, it doesn't matter? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. To this point, we really haven't seen anyone be voted out because they're struggling in challenges.
We have people who perceive people would struggle in challenges, and that's why they got voted out.
I don't think so, though.
Well, I believe that's why Allie and Jake voted David.
Yeah, I think that's
and
fair.
Then Emily said
he wasn't actually voted out.
No. But then Emily also said that she thought Abby would be stronger in challenges than Anna.
Yeah, that's also fair.
So again, it's not that they did badly in challenges. It's just maybe a way for them to reason it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always do think it's the ultimate kind of cop out.
Yeah.
But, it very well may be part of the equation here too. So anyway, cool challenge. It came down to the wire, as several of these have. Orange drops at the very end. It would have been really, really close had they not dropped the ball there. I think Orange had a slight lead. But ultimately, they can't complete that last transfer and Green wins it. And so Orange goes to Tribal, which guarantees a 5-5 breakdown heading into the next round.
Which is great. I think that's great.
And so let's get into the meat of it here and break down the plans and counter plans, because what we end up with, and I think it's articulated well by the players in the episode, is you have 3 distinct pairs, clear and separate pairs, and all of them are open to working with all of the others, and so it's a question of which group is going to link up and form a 4 against the other 2, right?
Yeah.
And what ultimately happens, of course, is that none of them do. They all backstab each other. But here's what happens. So I'm going to try and break this down as clearly as possible, because I think it's possible to follow what happens, but it is confusing. So there's the Isaac and Emily pair, the Adam and Sky pair, the Elizabeth and Abby pair, right? So Isaac and Emily, ultimately, they decide that they want to vote with Elizabeth and Abby against Adam. And they told Adam that they're going to vote with them, of course, against Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth and Abby want to vote with Adam and Sky against Emily. And they tell Isaac and Emily that they're voting with them against Adam. Mm-hmm. And then Adam and Sky want to vote with Emily and Isaac against Elizabeth. They tell Elizabeth and Abby they're voting with them against Emily. And so ultimately, you've got 3 groups in this circular motion here, all betraying somebody who's betraying somebody who's betraying somebody. And so you've got a 2-2-2 split. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think this is the best case in point example of the chaos of a smaller window of time version of Survivor. And I don't know, maybe you have all the time in the world and it doesn't change things, but like, use fewer times to wrap up conversations, to really lock in with people. But I don't know, even saying that, it was a conscious choice by each of them to flip on another one, right? It wasn't like, oh, I thought they were doing this and we just didn't communicate right. It's like, no, they perceived correctly what somebody wanted them to perceive. They just didn't perceive the other group flipping on them, mm-hmm. right? So
they were all confident.
Yeah.
In what they thought they knew.
Yeah.
But I think they get to tribal and they're like, maybe.
Uh-huh. So, again, I just think it's super interesting and worth, drilling in here on. So, maybe we talk through this from each of their perspectives here really briefly. So, Isaac and Emily, they're trying to vote against Adam. And I think this is an interesting... Their position is maybe the most interesting to me because... you see this concerted effort from Sky to kind of repair things with Isaac here early in the episode. She even says in confessional before the tribal that she's like, oh, I think people won't see it, that Isaac mm-hmm. and I are working together. And obviously that means more to her than it does to Isaac because he just kind of, goes against that attempt right here off the rip. And so they're basically choosing, okay, do we keep Adam in or do we keep Elizabeth in? And they go against Adam. I think that of all 3 groups, obviously they end up on the short end of the stick because Emily's eliminated. But to me, that choice seems the most, I don't know, I don't want to say incorrect, but it feels to me like they've got a pretty easy advance to the next round if they just vote Elizabeth here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it almost, again, I think goes to Adam's confessional where he's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of how we're feeling right now, where it's like...
Yeah, why are Sky and I such a target?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's like, to me... I see Elizabeth and Abby as more of a threat. Mm-hmm. Because we know it's just a little bit more undercover.
Yeah.
And it is this, at this point, like, what Abby's saying, I think, in one of the talks with Elizabeth, mm-hmm. is like, we keep Adam and Sky because they are more of a shield.
Yeah.
Because people are more scared of them.
Yeah.
So we work with them. People want to vote them out more than us.
Yep.
And it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so too. Like, and yeah, I do think Adam explains it well, where it's like though Adam and Sky are like loud and big presences, but they're not necessarily being duplicitous. Like, they're being strategic, but they're not being conniving or backstabbing. Like Adam has said it, like, you can pretty confidently know what Adam and Sky are going to do every tribal council they've been to, because they're not necessarily hiding it.
But I think all these gamers don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
yeah.
I think they're all like, no, they're 2 steps ahead, or there's something else going on, or it's just the chaos factor.
Yeah.
Where they are loud and they are more open, and so it's like, you can't possibly be telling me what you're actually doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's another way of putting this is all 3 of these groups believe that they're the swing votes, picking between 2 groups, you know. But, you know, all of them can't be.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth and Abby, then, they're voting Emily. They're trying to work with Adam and Sky. I think this one makes plenty of sense to me as far as their reasoning here. Again, if they feel like they're choosing between working with Adam and Sky or Emily and Isaac, we get a pretty clear picture from them. Adam and Sky are more outward threats, keeping them as shields, versus Isaac and Emily, who are more likely to get together maybe with people on the other side and band against them. And then Adam and Sky picking between working with Emily and Isaac or Elizabeth and Abby. I don't necessarily hate this for them either, choosing to go with Adam or with Emily and Isaac against Elizabeth. They identify Elizabeth and Abby as threats. They're attempting to mend this relationship with the other Orange group. Unfortunately, that's not what Isaac and Emily end up wanting to do, but I think from their perspective, those choices make more logical sense, or at least they're more clearly described. Anything else to add on that?
I don't think so, but I could come back to it.
Sure. So then, of course, you get to the vote, right? It's 2-2-2, 3 on Emily, 3 on Adam, 3 on Elizabeth. There's a revote. This one is like...
Well, I do want to say, as the votes are coming in, and I don't know if I've said this already or not, but we didn't really get to talk about it because by the time we were doing this, we'd already watched the whole thing. So it's like hard to say, who our winner pick was.
Yeah.
Right? But going in, like, I'm so excited to see Elizabeth play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very invested in her game. And as like one of my winner picks, I had like 2.
Sure.
And also I care about her as a person, a friend, whatever.
Yeah.
But I know she has a hidden immunity idol.
Right.
Nobody else does. I don't know that Abby does because I'm just watching from the sides, right? Yeah. And I'm at this tribal in real life and I see her name get pulled and I'm just like looking at her.
Yeah.
Trying not to have a facial expression because I don't want anyone to see my facial expression. And I'm just like panicking. And I'm like, is she panicking?
She
like,
is too, for sure.
You can see it in her face and you're just like, oh my gosh, she didn't play. And then you're just like, you're insane for not playing it.
Yeah.
And you're just, it's like a real moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That I hope is like seen. Mm-hmm. Like, I think sometimes it's hard to capture everything. I probably say this every episode, but it's like, I just really love what like Abby and Elizabeth are doing. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, so Elizabeth doesn't play her idol, Sky doesn't play her idol. You get the 3-3-3 tie, and then the revote where Isaac, Sky, Abby all revote. And I think this one is, like, in extreme danger of going to rocks. Like, you know, obviously the way that it played out was really excellent, and I'm very happy with it. But going to rocks would have also been crazy.
And we
in
did
this sort
have
of
rocks.
situation where there's a three-way tie, it's even harder, I think, to break a tie than if it was a two-way tie.
Yeah.
And it's really close to going to rocks. So Abby keeps her vote the same. She still votes for Emily. I think that's the right play.
Right. I think so too.
Like, if Elizabeth gets voted out here, Abby's in a really tough spot, and so she can maybe risk going to rocks to keep Elizabeth in the game. Like, I think that's valid. Isaac keeps his vote on Elizabeth. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isaac keeps his vote on Elizabeth. And I think this is, if there's a misplay on the revote, it's here, in that, you know, Isaac says he's not really sure what's going on, why things happened the way they happened, and he's going to keep his vote the same. Ultimately, I don't know, Isaac seems kind of, he's working closely with Emily, obviously, but not as paired with her as the other two pairs are. I feel like this was really in danger of going to rocks, and him keeping his vote the same would have put that in greater danger. Maybe he should have switched that on to Emily at that point. But then the highlight moment, of course, is Skye switching her vote to Emily. Again, we talked about it a little bit, but the way that she, you know, she gets up there and she's doing the math. Like, she's up there for some time. And she's, like, counting on her fingers. Like, you know, you hear her kind of muttering. It's like, okay, the two girls voted for Emily. Adam and I voted for Elizabeth. That means, okay, Isaac and Emily, we thought were going to vote with us. They must have not. And so I can switch my vote to Emily because she just betrayed me.
Yep.
And it's like, man, you say it out loud here, it's like, yeah, sure, of course, you get there. But when you're in the moment, and we just saw Isaac, you know, nothing but respect for Isaac. This is no shade. But Isaac just gets up there and says, I don't know what happened. I'm not changing my vote. Skye gets up there and she's like, she's crunching the numbers.
Yeah.
And she clocks what happened correctly and switches her vote in such a way that it keeps us out of a tie and keeps her off the chopping block. And she switches it correctly to the person who did just vote against them or change the vote against them, making them eliminated rather than somebody who was maybe trying to work with you. So again, I'm so proud of the way that Skye clocked that and made that decision. I think it's a great moment in the show, a great moment for her story. Just really, really great stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I just can't imagine it not happening the way it did. And because it's just a crazy thought to think of them going to rocks.
Yeah.
And, you know, Adam or Elizabeth getting...
Well, it would be Skye,
Yeah.
Abby, or Isaac.
Right. Yeah, and one of the three of them just going home is crazy.
It is. So that's that. Not the, like, I don't know, just a crazy tribal council and a thing that provides lots of ammunition to, like, analyze, which is fun.
Yeah, and in real time, I remember just feeling, like, so energized. I think everyone kind of, I don't know, maybe not, but I feel like as a crew, it was like, this is so good. This is so fun.
Yeah.
They're really playing.
Yeah, totally.
And
yeah.
this is really interesting.
Yeah, I
this is fun to watch.
It's a great point. Like, this was the moment, going back now, 3 straight tribals, so the 2 from last round that were both really electric, and then this one, all back to back to back, is like, shit, like, this is going really well.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is really fun. People are really playing. The results are really interesting. It's not a bunch of unanimous votes. Yeah, totally. It's a great
or
great
it's
call.
not a bunch of throwing anything at the wall. You know, it was just really, really fun.
Yeah.
And also so stressful as well as you're watching it, 'cause you're like, is Elizabeth gonna go home with an idol in her pocket?
Yeah.
Are we gonna draw rocks?
Yeah, I think...
Are Adam and Sky over? Like, is one of them going home? You know, like, and it just, you hold on to that storyline that we're invested in a bit longer, and it's like, what's so great about this game?
Yeah, it's great. Okay, let's move on to awarding our Gertchie Awards for the Player of the Week. First, we'll give a shout out to Sky for naming this episode. This is the 3rd one under her belt as far as episode namings. Can't imagine it'll be the last as long as she continues to be in the game, because she's just got great one-liners. But third named episode, that's half of the season so far, has been named by Sky. As far as your Player of the Week, who would you give your award to?
Having a really hard time, because ultimately I think it goes back to the fact that my 2 favorite moments, Elizabeth not playing her idol and Sky. So I'm having a really hard time.
Well, you should pick one.
I know. Who did I pick last time?
Last time you picked Elizabeth.
I don't want to go into her head. In the moment,
You'd really pick Elizabeth in this? Elizabeth wouldn't be in my top 2.
I know.
think she played bad, but...
I know. I also am like...
She almost goes home.
I know, and she doesn't. And it's...
But it's not her doing.
I know. I just... Okay.
It's a meaningless award that means nothing. Just pick one.
Okay, I will go with Sky.
Okay, Jen goes Sky. And why is that?
Well, I've just been nearly talked out of it with Elizabeth.
You can pick whoever you want.
No, it's fine. Because
I'm
I
just
also was like on the fence about Abby too, because I think she's doing a really great job of. She's equally a threat, and she's the one who, you know, ultimately I think helped guide the conversation that we were seeing of going for Adam.
Yep.
Or sorry, going for Emily.
But that's not who you picked.
I know. Sorry. I'm just saying all the things going through my head. I think I'm going with Sky because it was just a really great moment. She ultimately figures it out. She is a smart girl. We already knew that. But she just proves it once again that she maybe doesn't know how to play Survivor or Outlast, but she really does.
Yep.
She really does.
Yep. Great. I would have picked Sky if you didn't.
So now can you not pick Sky?
I like to pick a different one just for posterity's sake and to talk about 2 different people. But maybe a day will come that we have to pick the same person because it's just such an obvious choice.
Yeah.
I'm picking Abby. I think, you kind of said it already, but I think she steers the conversation as far as targeting Emily over Adam, which I do agree from their perspective is the right move. She sticks to her guns on the revote
Mm-hmm.
instead of panicking and changing her vote. When again, I do believe that her sticking to her guns is the correct move. And yeah, I think this is a strong episode from Abby. I think you can see the switch starting to flip for her, where she's starting to really kick it into overdrive a little bit and really turn the competitive side on. Not that she hasn't been, but the intensity is increasing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is a good strategic episode from Abby's perspective, and ultimately she votes correctly in voting for Emily both times. Only person who can say that. So
Yeah, and I think too, like, this is a second episode from Abby where her steadiness, I think, really is key here.
mm-hmm.
Where is it the previous episode where she avoids getting the vote, even though it's seemingly an obvious choice
Yeah,
to vote her out as the one green available to vote in the Sea of Orange.
yeah,
And then she stays steady here as well.
mm-hmm.
And I know it's so chaotic in her brain, I'm sure, but she's really maintaining such a level here.
Yeah, it's great. All right, well, that'll do it from us. I've got Emily on the schedule to talk with here soon, so we'll get an interview with her after this, and to hear her perspective on this episode and her game. So when you hear from me in just a few short seconds, it will be with Emily on the line. Okay, I'm now joined by Emily, the eliminated player from this episode, to hear her reaction to, yeah, this episode and from her perspective, what happened with her game. So, Emily, thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Wish it was under better circumstances and not your exit. Uh,
Yeah, but it was fun.
Good. Okay, so I have kind of asked everybody a version of this, but I'm just really interested, kind of hearing from each person. What's been like your experience with watching the show back so far, right? Like I know that there's a whole, in the pre-merge phase, like a whole half of the game going on that you aren't able to see, and then there's, I'm sure, stuff that happens at your camp that you didn't get to see either. Um, what's it been like watching it and, seeing yourself, but then seeing these other kind of like parts of the game that maybe you didn't have insight into at the time?
It's been fun. I'm not gonna lie, I was like really nervous about it.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate every time I'm on the screen. But other than that, like it's been really fun actually watching Anna over in the
Uh-huh.
green camp and
Yeah.
some of the people there because I had no clue what kind of was going on. So I
Yeah.
think that watching the other side is probably the most fun for me.
Yeah, totally.
Because
Yeah.
in my camp I kind of knew what was going on in general.
Cool. Yeah, you're not the only one who's said that. And I feel that way too sometimes, where I'm like, I say something stupid or whatever, and I'm like, God damn it. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, why do I have to be
yeah.
talking right now? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I wish I could not be perceived here.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, let's talk about, I think we can get right to it here. So your elimination here in episode 6 comes after the double tribal council the week before and the big kind of explosive on a vote. Um, how much do you think your downfall here this round kind of followed the events of the prior week, or do you think it wasn't really tied to each other at all?
Well, I think that like voting on or off, I had a strong like kind of ally there a little bit who like probably wouldn't have voted me out.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think like that whole situation changed.
Hmm.
Like kind of like I don't think that that didn't change anyone's view on me. I don't think
Yeah.
that necessarily. But like I think back out of it to it, and I was like, well, I had Isaac and Anna who probably would have like voted me out. But other than that, I don't think like that whole situation changed. Like kind of like I don't think that we could have all stayed together. But I don't know. I wasn't all for that like orange
Mm-hmm.
alliance. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't super loyal to anyone, I would say, except maybe Isaac.
Yeah.
Like even if you go back to like Ty or anything like that, like or Anna later, like I wasn't necessarily loyal to them in general, but like
Mm-hmm.
Isaac would probably be the only person I would say I was loyal to. So
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I was just like thinking like Green were stronger players and trying to align with them a little bit, but
Interesting.
yeah, I don't think it affected it like too much.
Okay.
And I also haven't watched Survivor, so I don't really
Yeah.
know like even how like the merge works and
Sure.
the different stuff. Like I've watched 2 episodes. I watched 2 episodes before I went on it, so I think that
Nice.
kind of hurt me too because I didn't know how much would be team challenges
I see.
versus when you would switch to the individual challenges.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that that hit so soon the individual.
Cool. No, that's all very interesting. I'm trying to categorize my thoughts because I had like several things I wanted to. Yeah, one of my favorite things about watching this back and editing it has been from people like you and Sky in particular, like who yeah aren't super fans of Survivor or like a show like it, and you're like figuring out the game on the fly is really cool to see. Like the way that y'all, yeah, kind of, I don't know, the people like myself, if I were to play, or the people who like love the show, like Elizabeth and Anna and Hannah, like folks like that, and Cody, like they go in with a pretty set strategy and understanding. And sometimes it's a little like boring because it's expected, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's really cool seeing, yeah, folks like you sort of learning it on the fly because it's a little bit more unpredictable, um, and organic too. So, yeah, that's been cool to see. I also, so you say that maybe like voting out Anna takes out somebody who would have voted with you. Do you think like in
Yes.
in retrospect then that's a move you could take back, like, or was it one you weren't really stoked with to begin with and that's just kind of how it went? Yeah, how
Well,
do you feel
I
about it
think
now?
if I like to for me to stay in the game longer, I think it would have been best to take it back.
Yeah,
It was kind of more like I wasn't sure how many team challenges we had
I
left,
see.
and I was like, well, these might be better for team challenges, or just kind of like I also don't like people always kind of asking me like what I'm gonna do, and I feel like someone's like making their vote based off of me kind of thing.
Mm,
I so that was part of it too. But I was very much between. We were kind of between like Green, like an Abby
yeah.
versus Anna kind of thing. So I probably would have went the other way
Yeah, it felt
with the
like
Green, voting out Green.
totally. Yeah. It felt like something that Isaac kind of like led the charge on. Was that how it felt out there too?
I don't really know. It was kind of
Yeah.
just thrown out by everyone. It was kind of like we
Interesting.
could go Green or we could go Anna.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very rough vote though. Like I played really
Right.
cool. Like I was like, it's just a game, but inside I was like, I feel so terrible. I don't do
No,
well with people's like emotions like at all.
for sure.
Like, but I thought I stayed pretty like cool, but that was rough.
You
That was
did.
very rough
You
for me.
did. Yeah. I like, I feel for everyone in that situation because it is like, and we say it at that tribal, like, this is why this formula of a game is so compelling because it's like you've got these two separate brains that you're trying to like merge and they can't stay separate, like you could try and be hyper
Hmm.
strategic and analytical and it's just a game, but like we're humans and our like feelings and emotions and personhood stop that from being totally analytical, right? So from Anna's perspective, like of course she's upset that she's gonna lose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And from your perspective, of course you don't want to get like run through the mud in response. So um yeah, it's maybe why the show's been on the air for 50 years. Or 50 seasons rather.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about too that's kind of like a central point of your story, at least early on, is your relationship obviously with Anna on the other side, and then obviously Ty and Sam too. It sounds like kind of that information got out a little bit, and maybe um, is maybe what partially contributed to people targeting you. Did you have any like
Um
plans to like keep that stuff a secret, or how much do you think that is what happened?
well, I think it was funny. I talked to Anna and like, well, um, I told my team that, Anna's my sister on the other side. And I
Yeah.
think Anna said she told them that, oh, she just knows me. Like, we're sharing a tent. We kind of know each other, but
Funny.
didn't tell them I was her sister. And, they found it out later because Sky went up, was like, oh, is this your sister? And I think Liz or someone was standing there, and Anna's like, oh, yeah, she is my sister.
That's really
But
funny.
I don't think anyone knew I knew Ty
Okay.
before I got out. So I don't think that really played into it. I'm going to squash a rumor here. There were like no plans of us having a secret alliance
Yeah.
ahead of time. Like I've heard that. I'm like, if you know me, like I didn't have any strategy. I was just like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. Like I really didn't even strategize with Ty at all, except,
Mm-hmm.
telling him that they were bringing up his name to vote out. But I
Yeah.
think that's really the only strategy we talked the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
I hear
So
you. And
I think having Anna on the other side though might have hurt me too, because they're like, well, if Anna's not with us, like she's gonna go with Anna in the orange, and we're gonna vote her out now, kind of thing.
yeah. Yeah. And I hear you, and I come to your defense on that too. I'm like, I think maybe there's some, I don't know. Uh, you lose a basketball game and you want to blame the refs, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think some people,
Yeah, I was just like, it's not that deep for me. Like, I had a lot of fun, but like, I'm not
yeah,
like thinking about like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. Like, I just kind of showed up and was like, okay, I'm here.
yeah,
Like, no plan. Like, yeah. So.
yeah. And, again, we like go into this knowing that some people know each other. And obviously that's going to make working with those people a little bit easier because you've got some
Yeah.
pre-existing relationship. And that was part of the game. And I think everybody knew that some people may know each other and some don't. And I also, yeah, well, again, come to your defense. I'm pretty confident that there wasn't any sort of pre-gaming shenanigans going on, and have no reason to believe that there was. So, um, cool. I also want to talk about the moment that you're voted out, right? Like you're talking to Elizabeth on the
Oh,
bench there, right?
yeah.
And you're like immediately like, oh, yep, I knew what happened. Good job, guys. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
everybody else is like, what is going on? Like,
I know. I was so confused why everyone was so confused. I'm like, are they just playing confused? Like, like, because to me, it was very obvious what happened. Like, when I went in, I knew that whichever two people I went with, like, I could pick the wrong one. I knew I was going to have two votes no matter what,
mm,
kind of thing. And I was just like, which two are going to vote me out? Is it going to be Adam and Sky, or is it going to be, Liz and Abby? And
yeah,
obviously, I picked the wrong ones, but I always knew that was going to happen. I was like, two people are going to vote me out. I just picked the wrong
that's
ones.
really interesting.
So like
Yeah,
I wasn't surprised when that happened. And then when they went down to it, I was like, well, not everyone's going to vote like the same way, because
sure.
then they're up to like draw. And I was like, Sky's probably like, oh no, she flipped on us. So like I was not surprised when she voted me out. Like I get it, because I didn't trust her at all, which is funny because she kind of told me how she was voting every
Uh-huh.
time when I look back on it. But like,
Yeah.
so I wasn't really surprised by anything. And I read when that happened, I was like, oh, like I know it's me.
It is really interesting because I really do think everybody else, like, even Isaac, who you're working really closely with at that
I
point,
know.
like, not into spoiler territory, but it takes like a like next episode, he's still like, what happened? Like, what, how did this happen? And yeah, you seem to be right on top of it. Was like, do you remember what gave you that, clear understanding of what was happening? Was it just the conversations you were having, or I don't know, did you pick anything up?
Well, I knew that was kind of be a split vote, and we were all like they said separate, like two and two people.
Yep.
So I figured like Isaac and I are going to vote the same, Sky and Adam are going to vote the same, Liz and Abby are going to vote the same,
Yeah.
and I just had a feeling I was a target, and I know like Sky was like, oh, we threw your name out there to them just so you know,
Mm,
like, and I thought that was her being like, oh, like we're actually going to vote you out, kind of
yeah.
thing. But so like I knew my name was going to be out there, and I think I even said in tribal, I was like, this is the first one like I'm actually worried about being voted out, because I
Yeah.
don't really know how it's going to go. It kind of depends on who I decided to trust and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I just wasn't surprised when it happened.
Cool. Yeah. I think you were the only one then who wasn't surprised.
I know everyone was shocked, and I was like, how do you not get it? Like
Right.
I don't know. To me, it was very clear, and I was like, why is everyone so confused?
When,
But yeah.
yeah, when we got to the revote, what did you think was going to happen there? Did it play out again the way that you thought? Because ultimately, Abby keeps her vote the same, Isaac keeps his vote the same, and then Sky. This is one I say it
Mhm.
earlier in the this recap episode, but Sky in the voting booth here is one of my favorite moments of the season, where
Oh, it
she's.
was funny.
I love
Yeah.
it, and like it's funny, and it's also like what I was talking about before. She's like really taking the time to do the math and like
Yeah, she was trying to figure out what happened
yeah, and
and who
she
voted who
and
and
she clocks it.
yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
caught you red-handed and flipped it onto you. Did you I don't know when it got to the revote, were you at that point kind of thinking, "Oh, it's going to flip onto me," or did you have hope that it was going to go a different way?
No, I knew it was going to be me because
Okay.
if I were Sky, I would have done the same thing because
Yeah.
like I voted against them like twice.
Yeah.
So like I would have done the exact same thing. So I was like, oh no, it's going to be me. So I once they revoted, I was like, yeah, like unless they didn't figure out it was like me voting against them, but I'm pretty sure she was going to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't surprised by that at all.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I love that moment, and I'm really impressed that you were able to sniff it out. Unfortunately, it was too late at that point, but um, yeah, cool moment. I think this vote was one of the most fun ones we had to this point. So um, all exciting stuff. I want to ask. So we see in the preview for the next episode, like we hit the merge. Next episode.
Hmm.
I, I want to talk about like that feeling for you. Did you have any sort of like immediate letdown knowing that you came that close to that sort of mile marker? And then I don't know, did you have any designs or plans in mind once you did hit a merge?
So to answer your first questions, I kind of honestly was a little relieved after that whole
Yeah,
Anna thing. Like I was kind of like, this is tough on me. Like
sure.
this is a lot. So like
Yeah,
I wasn't too like, and it's just bad. Like I had a lot of fun and I tried my best, but like I wasn't too upset. I was just like, I kind of feel better now that I can
no,
like relax.
I get it.
I'm also really bad at like lying, so I felt like I lied
Mhm.
to everyone that asked me things, and like I don't do well with that. I'm really bad at it. So I don't know how
You
anyone
did
believes
well
me.
enough.
Yeah. Secondly, I guess when I got to the merge, wouldn't say I definitely stay with Isaac. Like he would have been like the main person I
Yeah,
would trust. Um, and other than that, I kind of see how it would play out because I'd kind of see like I wasn't sure who was kind of an alliance over on the other side,
right,
but like I would say pretty loyal to Isaac and the other people. It just kind of depends what worked out best for me.
right,
Like it could be Anna, and Anna could also just like vote me out because she wanted to. Like that's
right.
kind of how we are. So I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
exactly trust that. But yeah, I didn't have any major plans, but I just kind of have to. I probably would have just tried to join one group.
Hmm.
You know,
Cool.
I hadn't thought too much about it yet.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, Isaac and again hitting the merge after that happened. I think he's really in a floundering spot, and so
Hmm.
yeah, the
Yeah, I feel like
combat.
I kind of messed up some of his game
Well, I don't know
at
if it
that
was
point.
you,
At that
but
point,
that outcome obviously doesn't look great for him
yeah.
going into this next part. Um,
Hmm.
I wanted last thing here, and then of course anything that else you wanted to talk about. But I'm thinking back, like to when we very first start, and even like your application, right? And I remember you
Hmm.
had this sort of like hesitation about I don't know, like the physical aspect, or like you just said, like the ability to lie to people. Maybe you weren't like the most confident in your ability to get out there, and then you put together like a really solid game here, um, and then kind of go down in a blaze of glory. I'm interested in like, did you surprise yourself in any way out here, or was anything about the experience like surprising to you having gone through it?
I think I did a lot better than I thought I would. I
Yeah.
honestly thought I would be like the first one voted out. Like, I'm not also super social too. So I was
Sure.
like, okay, I have to try to talk to people. So I thought that might like get me out. Like, I was like afraid I'd be like the one person who didn't talk to enough people. And,
Yeah.
they'd just be like, I'm just going to cut her because I, don't know much about her.
Hmm.
And the physical challenges were a lot easier than I thought they would be.
Yeah. Good.
Um, since there wasn't a lot of running, I've had knee surgery.
Yeah.
So I don't, run as well as I used to, but
Hmm.
that part wasn't that bad for me.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I was glad to have you out there. I think, yeah, you brought a lot to it. I'm glad um, that you were a part of it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Um, Anything else that you want to talk about here? Any other parts of your story that didn't really make the air, or any other questions or thoughts for me?
No, I think it got, it caught most of everything I did,
Cool.
except maybe when I told Ty, what was going on. But
Yeah.
other than that, like, I think my story's pretty much on the screen.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
as far as I've seen. So, yeah.
I think that moment you're referring to is one of those annoying moments where like I had, you know, a peek behind the curtain here where we're using these wireless mics, and sometimes in the chaos, like the camera ops kind of forget who their mics are on. And it's one of those
Yeah.
moments, like, there's a lot of times where I've got footage and what I'm looking at isn't what I'm hearing, you know? So I think it was one of
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
moments
Yeah.
where, like, I hear you talking to Ty and I'm like, man, I would love to use this, but we're
hmm
looking at something
Uh,
totally different. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to work.
yeah. I should just say one thing. I should have figured out that Ty had that idol from,
Yeah.
like, I was like talking and he was like, Emily, you got to do what you got to do, like voting wise or something. And I should have been like, I should have clocked it really.
Hmm.
He was too calm. I should have known that. Should have
Interesting.
figured that one out.
Did you vote
Like, too
that?
calm, like he didn't care. He was just like, whatever.
Yeah. Was
So,
that when
yeah.
you voted for Sky or Adam that round, I assume?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that round. I
Yeah.
was like, I should have picked up on that
Mm.
before that, just because he was very like, I don't know, just kind of out in space, like
Yeah.
whatever, like I should have figured that one out pretty quick, but I didn't. But I didn't. None of us did. I was like, he 100% does not have the idol, and
Yeah.
he did. So
That
yeah,
yeah. That moment too, one of my favorites of the season so far. Just like everybody's reactions are so big. It's so fun.
yeah. I think we were all shocked on that one.
Yeah. We'll give Emily one last shout out here because after Emily was eliminated, she helped out big time with crew and getting challenges set up and everything. So again, thank you for that. Very important for our eliminated players to have helped out. So appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was actually really fun too. Like I
Good.
said, I got to watch everything else, so that was the fun part of it
Yeah.
for my weekend as well.
Yeah. And this is what I was going to say earlier. Now, remembering this is that I think one of the most interesting things about doing this has been how often people say what you've said too, of like it taking a pretty big toll on them. Like, was not a thing that really I anticipated, people experiencing. But
hmm
I think, yeah, just about everybody to differing degrees, like comes out of it being like shook a little bit, like,
hmm
and having,
Yeah, and I think it was. Sorry, you
no,
can continue.
no, that was the end of my thought. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, it wasn't like getting voted out or anything like that. Like, that didn't phase me at all. It was more just like other people's like reactions to something I did. Like, I just
Hmm.
felt bad.
Yeah. Totally fair. Okay, cool. Well, again, thanks for joining me here. That'll go ahead and wrap up this recap. So if you aren't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, listeners, make sure that you do that. There's a link also to our email list where we just send out notifications when new episodes come out. So make sure to hit that. And then also a week from today, next Monday, we'll have our next episode of Outlast hitting the feeds. So again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.